Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. How prophetic women get destroyed. Esther vs Jezebel. The first one is spiritual abuse instead of spiritual growth. When someone is getting publicly humiliated, they're gossiped about, someone doing witchcraft on them, word curses, verbal abuse. That can really destroy a prophetic woman's self-esteem, self-worth, and she might question her identity. She might start to feel like she's not good enough and try to be like somebody else. So it's really important to not tear women down. Um, the second one is mean women instead of Titus to women. When you are being a mean girl, and you'd when a girl is going through issues with grown women, it can confuse her. Grown women should be mothering, nurturing, and empowering. When you're being mean, the bully, it can cause confusion. It can cause her to, you know, not trust women in the future. And it's really important to show her that women can be kind and caring and nurturing. Being catty, being mean, being rude, and very catty, that can really destroy her worth. That can make her question herself. Um, the third one is perverted men instead of Mordecai. Perverted men can really make women feel dirty, feel ashamed, feel embarrassed, and it's really important to not open doors to pornography when it comes to kids. They shouldn't be exposed to stuff like that, and it's really important to get to the root of the issue. You can't talk about the dress and lipstick and them being male centered and fast when you don't acknowledge the perverted men. It's so important to talk about perverted men and not just talk about the shallow things. Focus on the main core. Um, the fourth one is sabotage, manipulation, and control. When you're trying to highlight someone's weaknesses and you like to see them squirm, you like to see them feel uncomfortable, you're being sadistic and you are being insecure and you are trying to feed off it instead of focus on their strengths. You're focused on their weaknesses because of your own envy, jealousy, and intimidation. So it's really, really important not to manipulate and try to control a prophetic woman because she has uniqueness and you shouldn't be trying to control it because you want to feel powerful. That's really controlling, and you shouldn't try to manipulate somebody. If they want to do something, they should be able to say yes or no. You can't control them. You can't control people. The fifth one is unfair judgment. Accusing someone to want to be a pastor or like be a first lady, being money hungry. You just giving them a false. You're accusing them, and it makes them feel small. It makes you're trying to dim the light, and it's really important not to be judgmental and try to stereotype them. It's really they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed. That makes them want to shrink their gifts, and it makes them want to shrink. And it's so important not to try to dispower people. It's really important not to be judgmental and assume things. It's really, really important to be empowering, to be understanding, and to understand them. It's not just being judgmental. They go through spiritual warfare, they have issues with family, they have issues with work, their health, and you trying to justify it and say, oh, she's just attention seeking. It really minimizes the pain she's going through, and it's hurtful because she's going through stuff and she has issues and she's trying to get healing, and you're calling her attention seeker. You're objectifying her due to your own ignorance, your misogyny, and that really can destroy a prophetic woman because now you're trying to objectify her. When she numbs herself, she tries to numb herself. Then it doesn't help. It doesn't help the situation. She has a burden, and it's you justifying it and trying to say, oh, she cared about money and fame and stuff like that, and you trying to justify everything, and you judging her by her career, her appearance, and her lifestyle, and you try to be judgmental. But it's important to be discerning, not to be ignorant. Um, Next one is unrequited love, crushes, and shame. Sometimes women, they go through spiritual warfare, and lots of people hate them. They go through a lot of hate and bullying and grief and trauma. Sometimes the guy's being nice, sometimes the guy is being nice, and she thinks that he could possibly like her. But it's really important for prophetic women to understand that some men just want a bit of attention. Some men aren't really serious. They want to humble girls and put them in their place and see them squirm like, oh, I don't like you that way. And some men are used by the devil to humiliate women and to put them down. And some prophetic women are destroyed mentally, and it ruins their self-esteem too, and they feel like they're not good enough, and it can make them feel embarrassed and ashamed because the devil uses their creativity, their imaginations and wiring to imagine things and stuff like that. So it's really important for prophetic women to actually use their gifts wisely. And I know sometimes it's hard because some women in church are very tutorial when it comes to their ministry, and they're like, this is my ministry. And some women are bored. They feel like they have enough to do. Maybe they go through a lot of failures at work, when it comes to school. They're called to ministry, so nothing works. So sometimes they get frustrated. They want to be married. They want to have kids and a family, and they want love. But at the same time, prophetic women need to understand that if he's not saying he wants to pursue her, if he's not saying that he likes her and wants to get to know her, they should just leave it at that and don't imagine things and start having fantasy. Because sometimes they'll say like, oh, Cinderella, he's coming to save you, but sometimes the reality is a lot of men are powerless. They're passive, they're weak, they feel like peasants. The pastors are emasculating them, and they feel out of control. The pastors are emasculating them, bossing them around. They've got a bossy, arrogant, insecure pastor that controls everything, and they feel powerless too. So women need to understand that you can't have this fictional character in their head. You have to realize they have to be grounded and realize that some boys have mother issues. They got father issues. They got issues with their identity. They got identity crisis. They compete with women. That's why some prophetic women are shocked because they thought that men will protect them, but they humiliated them. They tried to humble them and compete with them instead of protecting them because they're weak boys. A lot of boys are weak. They're passive and they're emasculated by their pastor, and they got job issues, they got work issues, they got issues with poverty, and some of them feel powerless. And sometimes they try to take it out on women and embarrass them and shame them. So it's really important that women understand that, to not take it personally. The next one is Ahab men. It's a kind of the same thing, but Ahab men are misogynistic men. They want to silence their voice. Prophetic women have burdens, and they want to express themselves and talk and be able to be in purpose. And sometimes Ahab men and misogynistic men, they want to silence a woman. They want to humble her. They want to put her down, make her question herself. And sometimes the devil uses men to just humiliate women and say, oh yeah, she's going to be humbled. Oh yeah, she's single. Nothing wrong with being single. Don't get caught up in men trying to humble you. Oh, you're still single and stuff like that, and try to put you down. They want to humble you. They want to tear you down because they feel emasculated themselves. They have daddy issues. They got mother issues. They got issues with finances and unemployment. They don't feel powerful. They're past emasculating them and controlling them, being bossy, and they're social climbing. They're trying to find power. They have no power, and they want to humiliate women that have power because they feel very powerless. So it's really important to take it personally. Some prophetic women are destroyed by misogynistic men and Ahab because Ahab men are passive, they're weak, they have no voice, and they want to tear you down with them. They want to say, you're coming with me. They have that mentality that, oh, you're coming with me. I feel powerless and you're about to feel it too, and they want you to come with them. They want you to be power obsessed like them, and they want to silence your voice. So it's really important not to take it personally if a Ahab man comes into church with a worldly woman. She's not winning. You might feel like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And you might feel, I'm fasting and praying, but that's warfare. Like if you were to be with him, that'd be warfare. You'd not be able to do what God wants you to do, because he'd be constantly trying to compete with you. Every 5 seconds, he's trying to compete with you. Every 5 minutes, he's humiliating you, and you're wondering what's going on. But he's been sent by the devil, and if he's lukewarm, if he's passive, if he's not being a king, and he comes in with a woman that's not really godly, and he's trying to humble you, he's humbling himself, because at the end of the day, that's not a flex. You shouldn't be in church and worshiping, and he comes in with a worldly girl, and she's lukewarm, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's not even a Christian, she's not even praying. And you feel hurt, but That's you shouldn't want that. You shouldn't want somebody that's lukewarm. Like you're not missing out. That'd be warfare. You'd be constantly in competition with him. He'd be competing with you, and he'd not be covering you. It'd just be a waste of time. I know you want to look good on Sunday, having a guy next to you. It would be nice to have a guy next to you on a Sunday, but is it really worth your mental health? Is it really worth your mental health? In your calling and gifting, and someone, if a guy is constantly bullying you every day, he's bullying you and putting you down just for a Sunday, just to have someone next to you on Sunday. So when you see all that, when you see the hypocritical behavior, when you see him like, oh, I'm gonna show her, I'm gonna come in with someone, like if you're curvy, I'm gonna come in with a skinny girl. He'll try to humble you, and it's like you don't want to be around an insecure boy. You don't want to have an insecure boy. So when you see that, you don't think, oh my gosh, I'm missing out. What am I doing wrong? And it's like God's protecting you. God's protecting you. So when you see church boys, they're coming with Jezebels, they're coming with whirling girls are not serious. You're not missing out. You need someone that can pray, that can have discernment. You don't need a power hungry, social climbing, passive, weak man that's desperate and he feels powerless because his pastor's masculating him. And the whirling girl will just see him as powerful. He won't understand. The women won't understand. But you see, you're prophetic. You can see in the spirit. You can see that he's a peasant. You can see that he's Ahab. That whirling woman doesn't know. She's probably curious. So don't take it personally. And next one is getting exploited and scammed and used for their selfish ambition. When someone's scamming you and robbing you and just stealing from you and like taking your time and your energy and your money, and they constantly want it, that can leave you drained. That can leave you feeling like you're constantly being used. It's really, really important not to get caught up in scams and get it's so important not to be misled. Set boundaries. It's really important to set boundaries because you can end up being burnt out. You can end up being mentally ill, broke, and just feeling really drained out because you keep constantly saying yes. And if you do say no and they start being passive aggressive on the pulpit, they might give you the silent treatment. They was scamming you. They was entitled. And don't fall for the emotional witchcraft. Don't fall for the guilt tripping, the emotional witchcraft, and the passive aggressive behavior in the pulpit, the silent treatment. You have a choice. You can say no. Life happens. You can say no. If they're being passive aggressive because you said no, they're a scammer. They're being Jezebelic, and don't take it personally. You can't be a people pleaser. You can have limits. Don't get destroyed by burnout. Next one is trauma, spiritual warfare, and rejection. When you're going through spiritual warfare and trauma, it can really make you numb, and you can try and numb the pain, and you can try when you're going through stuff. It's really important what you do in that time. Don't thirst trap online. Don't be a people pleaser. Don't try to trauma dump on people. Don't try to wear your pain because it just makes things worse. It's important to fast, to pray, and to heal. And I know rejection hurts because sometimes people reject you in a harsh way and make you feel like they might make you feel like you don't have a prophetic gift and that you're fame hungry, that you're power hungry, that you just want money, that you're a witch, and that you're just an opportunist, that you're just desperate. But focus on God. Focus on your calling. Don't focus on approval. Don't chase people. Don't make them chase, because you might feel like you have to chase people. When you go through rejection, you might feel like, oh, maybe I'm not bubbly enough. Maybe you're not good enough, and you end up looking silly because you want to be yourself, but they're basically saying that you're not enough being yourself. So really, really important not to take it personally. Don't take rejection personally. Put God first, and God will do the rest. Because sometimes, I've got prophetic words, and I know that sometimes I say to myself, I just wish it was public so people can see. But sometimes God protects us. Like sometimes God protects us because He knows that the character. He knows that the character of people, and sometimes it's protection. So if you wanted that public prophetic word, and you wanted everyone to see, sometimes God protects you because He knows how they are. He knows that they need to heal, that they're prideful, and it will get to their head and they'll be exploitive. So sometimes it's protection. So when it comes to rejection, don't take it personally. Focus on what God is calling you to do. And the next one is passive Ahabs, enablers. They can really hinder a prophetic woman's growth because they're so passive. They can't speak up. They can't tell Jezebel, you know what, you've gone too far. You're too prideful. You're too bossy. You're too controlling. And sometimes enablers are weak. They're scared. They want the pastor's approval. They want approval. They're people pleasers. They're desperate. They've got low self-esteem. They've got low self-worth. They're very, very desperate for approval. And they won't say nothing because they're desperate. They've got nothing. They feel like they have nothing. And they're desperate. They've got low self-esteem. And sometimes enablers make things worse. They sit there, watch abuse, don't do nothing. They're passive. How to go from Jezebel to Esther. Stop the rebellion. Stop being rebellious. Have morals, have integrity, and let go of pride. Some people say, "Oh, God knows my heart." They act certain way. They act out different ways, and they have these. They do things out of they compromise and they justify it. Oh, I have enough to lose, and I went through stuff. But it's time to let go of pride. It's time to let go of pride and make sure that you deal with your pride and your arrogance and let go of the rebellion. Next one is know your identity. There will be people that doubt you. They'll say you're a attention seeker. You're shallow. You're money obsessed. Know your identity in Christ. Don't listen to the outside noise, because people can say horrible things and make you doubt yourself. Know your identity in Christ. Next one is heal. Get wise counsel. And when I say wise counsel, I don't mean word cursing. I don't mean someone gaslighting you. Get wise counsel, even from online, a therapist, counselor. Get wise counsel and pray, fast, forgive people. Guard your heart, but not harden it. Heal properly, and be prayerful. Keep praying every single day. Don't get caught up online, and don't get caught up in people pleasing and trying to hide the pain and numb the pain. Validate your pain and experiences. What you've been through is valid. It's important not to not downplay what you've been through. Validate your experiences and your feelings. And next one is be selfless. Be in purpose. Give to the poor. Do something really meaningful in your life. Give money. Be charitable. The devil wants you to hate your gifts. He wants you to hate your wiring, and he wants you to be in isolation and just give up on yourself and be selfish and harden your heart. Like, oh, I'm not going to be nice again. He wants you to be like, oh, I'm not going to be nice again. And, you end up being selfish and isolated and not doing anything. And you're holding everything together. Like you're holding yourself and you don't want to do anything. And you're bitter. But it's important to be warm, to be selfless and kind. So I hope that helped. If you need any counseling or coaching or prayer requests, email me. Thank you for listening.